Hello, all you pretty people out there. Welcome back to the weekly recap where we talk about esports and gaming news and all of the hottest topics this past week. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
I'm more ready. Let's get on into it, folks. Hackers have been a widespread issue throughout a lot of games out there, especially a lot of the ones we cover. CSGO, we got some Fortnite ones way back in the day. Of course, most notoriously is going to be all the Warzone hackers, which we'll talk about later if they keep on coming back. Even with the anti-cheat, Battlefield was also a game that in its very own beta has found out that nowadays you just can't trust anyone to not try and want to cheat.
I think at this point we just have to expect it with any multiplayer game that's coming out, especially when they're free games. I mean, this of course was just the beta for Battlefield, but we already saw cheaters in it, which is just, I don't know, it just makes you feel kind of bad when you're so excited about something and so many people are like, maybe Halo, maybe Battlefield, and then as soon as you get into the beta, there's cheaters in it already.
Yeah, people are sick of Fortnite, they're sick of Warzone, at least some people are, and when it comes time for watching their favorite streamers, maybe these next two are going to take a swing at it, and then evidently we don't know if Halo's even going to have one, and then Battlefield comes out with this. I just wonder, is there any game out there that people don't want to cheat at? And I don't think there is one.
I think at this point probably not. People always have something to gain, whether it's the people selling the cheats and hacks, obviously monetary gain, maybe even people streaming it who want to look better than they actually are. But something that I did want to point out that I thought was kind of funny was Battlefield decided to say that they're using easy anti-cheat, which, by the way, awful name for an anti-cheat. I don't know why you would name it that to begin with, but that is the same one that Apex uses, which is kernel level, but already we know it has problems. Like, we know Apex has had its issues, so it's just interesting to me to have all these companies that are using the same anti-cheat that just aren't being successful, and it's like, all right guys, what are we doing here?
Yeah, but at the very end of the day, it's still, hey, at least Battlefield has one.
Yeah.
Upon launch, I would assume, as compared to other games out there, that maybe it took a year of begging for it to actually come out with a new title to be released as well. That being with Call of Duty's anti-cheat, which I'm sure we'll talk about sometime soon. Battlefield already having cheaters in beta. Will they continue into the main game? Probably. You know, just over a year ago, around that point, we talked about a very controversial thing for Nadeshot, which I didn't think should be that controversial, but hey, people got mixed opinions. When Lil Nas X gave him a pair of, am I allowed to say satanic shoes? Satan shoes?
Yeah, and I will correct you just a little bit. It definitely was not over a year ago at this point.
Was it?
No,
was that earlier this year?
Yeah, it was earlier this year. But we've seen them interact with Lil Nas, obviously, a ton of times. We talked about this before, whether it's the mob or just other friendly interactions with the 100 Thieves and Lil Nas. And so it was cool to see this come to fruition kind of by when their league team won the LCS and they were celebrating with Industry Baby. You know, you saw Nadeshot toss a speaker on accident.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see that. And then you probably think in the back of your head that they were like, man, maybe we should try to make a video with Lil Nas. And then it happened, which is incredible.
There were a lot of little tiny stepping stones. The moment that happened this past week, in case you guys missed it, League of Legends Worlds always has their world song each and every year. It's a big hit. 100 Thieves decided to do their own twist where they bring on a major artist and they have him actually combine a couple of his songs, and they do a little nice little JHB moment, mention a lot of their feature a lot of their members, and it's just so cool to see for their own kind of edition of a world song. Also, so many individual things in that video. One in particular, not just a Lil Nas connection, but an Nadeshot at one point having the Hoodie org on his own hoodie, which I imagine is going to be sold sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know the full story arc of that, which I believe started around a year ago, who knows if it's actually a year or so, where Envy Hastro began the whole thing of he doesn't want to just sell hoodies, he wants to win titles. That began a whole back and forth between him and Nadeshot, mostly him, and all of a sudden we have 100 Thieves having all of these successes, which has led us to this point, which is just crazy.
And the only thing I'll say is it seems like a lot of people share the idea or the thought that, man, this is going to change things, or it could, because this just set the standard so high for teams, where imagine getting these kind of hype videos from multiple teams a year, whether they work with different artists just to hype up their team and their squad, which is really cool to see that, hey, we're going to direct all our viewership with Lil Nas and all of our big names like Ray, Encourage, and Nadeshot to our league team right now and for Worlds. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and then one last thing, ironically so, when it comes time for Hoodie org, you know, Envy has an investor, a co-owner named Post Malone, who probably could produce some very good music with them, or they could have done, but they aren't in League of Legends Worlds, and they're not in League of Legends, I believe, either. So we'll see how that continues, guys. Hoodie org taking to a whole new level. 100 Thieves also taking things to a whole new level with Lil Nas X. One of probably the spiciest stories we have seen all week long, one of my favorites to cover, is a FaZe Clan member and a creator in the Warzone space and streamer known as Kalei. She is very, how do I describe Twitter interactions? She's a wild one when it comes to Twitter.
Suggestive, maybe, I don't know, just a little risky. I'm not sure.
Definitely a character, and probably a perfect alignment with that of FaZe Clan to be their first major female signing in the Warzone space, and hopefully more to come in the future. She actually was given a Twitch ban this past week, supposedly 3 days for sexually suggestive content. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what maybe it could be. You know, was it a false ban? Because we've seen plenty of them in the past with Twitch. I think she really kind of just tore into the part that she wasn't told exactly what she did, and you know, Twitch not responding to her emails. A lot of the same issues we've seen other streamers bring up, which brought up a response from her, which was probably one of the wildest responses I've seen anyone at Twitch at, where she asked if they were on crack and she asked if they were high, and then of course showcasing the fact that she'd been given a 3-day ban for sexually suggestive content.
At the end of the day, I just want to know what it was at this point. Like, you have to want to know, because it's just juicy either way, because she's talking so much smack about it towards Twitch of like, hey, she doesn't know why she got banned, but I think in her post she mentioned like, oh, the one time, like, I wear sweats all day every day.
Yeah.
The one time I think it was like her collarbone out because I got a tattoo, I get banned.
No way that's it.
Right. You hope, like, you cross your fingers that that can't be it. But we've also seen stuff of maybe her chat was being a little suggestive, and maybe there's some commands in chat that could have been maybe not so appropriate that could cause it. But like you said, we just don't know, which is the frustrating part with Twitch, where how are you not communicating to people like Kalei on their ban?
Yeah, and again, it would be preferential treatment to not give everyone the same reason, although we've seen that apparently XQC gets specific moments clipped out for him. Meanwhile, everyone else is maybe, as of their last update, given a VOD or given the stream title to know, okay, it was on that day, what did I maybe do that day? But yeah, I mean, if you're going through and you're actually banning people, it's hard to imagine, especially someone who's pretty prominent like Kalei. You can't be like, oh yeah, 3 days and your chat, just watch out for your chat. Just give like anything sort of inkling to, so they know. Because I talked to Kalei and she was so confused as to what it possibly could be.
It just has to be frustrating. And then my brain's going back to that clip of Alinity that we recently talked about, where she accidentally like flashed the camera a long time ago with her butt. And then later on, she's recorded saying that, oh yeah, Twitch told me that it's fine, it's okay, just delete that clip, and like, we've got your back and you're fine.
Yeah.
And you compare that to something like this, where she gets banned for something that's not obvious, at least to outside looking in, like we have no idea what it was, and is receiving no communication. I understand how it must be super frustrating.
Yeah, super frustrating for sure for FaZe Kalei, given a 3-day Twitch ban for what she says has to be a false ban, and then promptly says, Twitch, are you on crack? One of the biggest disasters we have seen for events in a long time. Riot Games and Valorant does a great job with events. They've done a great job with their esport, maybe not so great around the last chance qualifier. I'm sure you guys all know the story about the 2 Aussie teams who unfortunately had to miss the entire event, and I think they kind of hinted at maybe blaming Riot Games for negligence actually getting them to the event. We had 100 Thieves and other teams complaining about single elimination. All those issues not really resolved because the Aussie teams could not go. The format was fixed because they could not go, and now at the event is where the real issues have begun. I'm sure you've seen the Proto clip, LG versus XSET. If you guys have not seen this clip, a massive lag out alongside several lag spikes that players have complained about all throughout their series or their games, which is obviously pretty bad. The Proto clip is one of the worst I've seen in a long time, even impacting the round, possibly lagging out completely.
It just has to be so frustrating as players, especially after all the, you know, bracket changes and everything. Then you go to this LAN that is hosted online on a server, and then you have issues with that server you're playing on. And seeing that clip, like, I got frustrated from the clip because you see him just like walking over and then just staring at the 2 people there, and they turn around and shoot them,
and the casters cut out, and you're like, oh, this can't be good.
I know.
And who's to know how the round would play out? It looked like a Proto was going to be able to collect, but you never know, right? We'll never know, and we'll never get that moment back in time. Now it even got worse the day following, as matches have been postponed for a couple of days following what was a series of COVID false positive tests. To keep it very short for all of you guys, a couple FaZe members, Corey and Baby Bay, they tested positive, then shortly after negative. Riot Games, because of that, didn't want them on stage if they actually were positive. They wanted them to play from the FaZe facility. Meanwhile, their opponents in Rise, who did not test positive, being forced to play on Riot-issued PCs, which I've been told are far worse than FaZe's facility PCs. So you can imagine the situation all of these players have now been put in. We've heard from sources, several teams have complained about this, even maybe a team or two threatening to pull out of the event. It's just issue after freaking issue. And we have never, can't remember the last time I've seen something this bad.
Which is crazy because their other events have gone so well, I feel like, comparatively. And so it almost feels like this was kind of an afterthought for them, LCQ, and how things were going. At this point, I don't know. Obviously, we're not Riot Games. We're not people who make decisions like that. But if it's me, I'm like, okay, guys, there's a lot of problems going on. Everyone just go to your respective places where you're going to play from, and we'll figure it out from there. They've done online tournaments before in a lot of other esports. And so at the end of the day, just ask your owners, your coaches, your players what they want to do, and then figure it out from there. Maybe go home and play from home.
Yeah, they are in a possible nightmare situation. We'll see how Riot Games does respond. As of us recording today, the matches are still postponed. We'll see what happens now with the Valorant LCQ. It's finally here, folks. Their giant question, of course, going to be, is it going to work? Yes, Call of Duty. Following the day, they had a message for all the cheaters, and this was a heck of a message. If you guys did not see it on Twitter, it was one of the more popular posts out there and viral posts, as Call of Duty directly addresses all the cheaters while also saying, see you tomorrow. Obviously, we know what launched the day after, but I want to first bounce off you the message they sent to all the cheaters out there in case you guys missed it on Twitter. Pretty much just saying, dear cheaters, you're not welcome. Dear cheaters, you don't got a chance. Dear cheaters, come and get it. You know, Call of Duty kind of, I don't know how I felt about the message, to be honest.
Come and get it. I'm not sure if that's what they said exactly, but close enough, I'll say. I think I agree. I use a Doc clip in the video, and Doc actually directly talks about, man, they seem to be putting a lot of marketing and PR into this, where they're making this big announcement on Twitter, and everyone's going to see it. Obviously, all the big streamers are going to interact with it, which they did, and it got a lot of heat, or not heat, but press coverage, I would say. And so you got to hope that this works out for you at the end of the day, because if you're making this big statement and it doesn't work, you're just going to be a laughing stock.
I mean, imagine if this Ricochet anti-cheat doesn't work. I mean, they're putting a lot of PR and marketing into this, and, you know, for big IP AAA to sort of commit to that statement and those claims, they must be really confident about Ricochet, and I like it.
Yeah, and within 24 hours, they did release their anti-cheat. Is now, well, it's on its way, I should say, with Ricochet, which is a pretty darn cool name. We saw someone like Nadeshot comment about this, saying, sick name. Anti-cheats, like easy anti-cheat, definitely better than that name.
Right. I think at the end of the day, what we're going to have to wait for, no matter if it's a good name like Ricochet or a bad name like Easy Anti-Cheat, is, like you said, will it work? They harped a lot on this kernel level stuff that's way over our heads, you know, just like past us. But we have to see, you know, we have Riot's Vanguard, who is good for Valorant, and it's their own proprietary software. Now we have the other company, Activision, having their own proprietary, I can't say that word.
That's okay. You got the first time.
Proprietary software. And so now we have these two that own their own software that might work out better than maybe something like Easy Anti-Cheat will.
Yeah, and it's just, at this point in time, I can't see it. I mean, it's not going to work 100%, right? Can we? So I'm just now waiting for the clips where someone's going to tweet it. They're going to use Call of Duty's words, saying they're going to show the cheating clip and say, dear cheaters, you're not welcome, and then just show a freaking montage. I just hope it's going to be more effective than what it was before. But if you name a top title right now, there are issues with cheating, especially in the FPS genre. Yep. So we'll see how well this one works, guys. Ricochet is on its way. What do y'all think it's going to do? As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the recap. Every week we talk about esports and gaming news, and I hope you all enjoy.
Please have a good day.
And until next time,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.